There's something called Galax leaves. We're going to use these today. These are little native forest plants, indigenous to like the Piedmont area, Carolinas, the South, but they're really all over. And they can grow here. They are hardy in our zone, but they're very low-lying on the forest and the carpet and the bogs and things like that. And they've been used for a very long time in the flower industry. They used to be, they would cover wreaths with them, or they would cover mounds with them to start their flower arrangements. But I'm going to do something a little different today. So we're going to take these leaves, and I do sell these in the shop. They come packs of 20. And they come all bundled like this. And they're $8 a pack. So I'm going to use approximately 20 in this project, and we're going to make a wild Irish rose. So I'm going to use a very thin wire. This is probably like a 30 gauge. It's very thin. It's not quite as thin as thread, but it's thin. So the first thing, if you get your packets, now one thing before I forget, you could use violet leaves. Now I went out in the yard. This is all I could find quickly. As you can see, they're shaped quite similar. This is a little one, and we all know how big violet leaves will get soon. So you could use violet leaves, but Galax leaves have almost like a leathery, they're tough, they're forgiving. You can do things with them. So if you get a pack of these, like I said, they come in packs of 20. You could always, and they're very inexpensive. I would separate your leaves, the largest to the smallest. And I've got a bunch here I'll just do. As you can see, because when you get them, they're all different sizes. So I would first separate your largest to your smallest. And sometimes they come, look at this beautiful burgundy they come. It's very nice. There's a nice little one. They almost look like lily pads. So that is the first thing that I would do. I'm just going to start here and show you this thin wire. First thing you're going to do is roll one. Just roll it. Roll it right up. Roll it up as tight as you can. And then take that bottom leaf. This is that detail work. And just wrap that wire around it. Some people use floral tape. I tend to use wire. I might use floral tape to finish it off. So you have what looks like almost a bud. I think you can probably see that pretty well. Then start taking your graduated sizes. Now, well, actually, you could do one more bud, but I preferred take it like that, fold that over, fold this one over, and again, take your wire and wrap it around. As you see, we're starting to make a flower. And then it's just one right after the other. Now, they can be a little bit of annoying because they have this whoosh on the bottom. So just kind of push them up like this on both sides, as you can see like I did there. And wrap. I'll do another one. Let's see, this one is a little bit better sizing. Again, put it right up at the base of it. Turn it around and wire. Don't go too tight because you will slice the leaf. You don't have to be that tight to do it. So as you can see, we're moving right along here, and you're just going to consecutively put your leaves, wire them on around, do one side and then the other side, as you can see. Now, when you're finished, you will have, I didn't finish this one today, but you will have something that looks like this. And I call it my forest rose, but for purposes of the date, I think we could call it my wild Irish rose. Now, this is something that you could give as a little tussie-mussy. You could make it a little bit smaller, and you could actually pin it for St. Patrick's Day. You could put a beautiful ribbon on it. Which I forgot to grab the ribbon, sorry. If it was for St. Patty's Day, I would use something like this beautiful fabric stripe. You could do that. Look how charming that looks. That looks great. Or what I have done, I've even made these as large as for a bridal bouquet. You can add greenery on the back of it. I've got the beautiful plumosis fern here. This is so fluffy. This is in the asparagus family. You could face it out with a lot more than this. You could put some other little greenery. This is variegated pittosporum. You could, here we go, we'll put some more around there. I've got, just in this week, is Sweet Huck. This is a wonderful branch. You could put branches around it, and you'd actually have a wonderful little bouquet, either to give or to display. So that is my wild Irish rose, aka forest rose, on my website. I do have them on there. I think I sell them for $39, and they are available year-round. I like it. Okay. Now, if you were going to do this for someone as a corsage, it obviously needs a lapel to go with it for the gentleman. So, hi, Wendy. So what I came up with, I'm always playing with scissors and tape and wire, was to take one of your leaves. Now, depending on what size leaf you use, the bigger the leaf, the bigger we'll make a shamrock. So you could make a shamrock this big, or you could make it this big. And what you do is, I did this in steps so I could show you. We all know how to make a heart in school, remember. Fold a piece of paper like that, so they're all the same size. So you would cut out 3 of those, trace them on a piece of paper, and then in turn trace that on a little piece of cardboard. Then you put it on the leaf. I'm not going to do it because I have one here ready to show you. But you put it on the leaf, and obviously trace your, try to keep this right here at where that little juncture is in the leaf. And try to keep that right there, like that. Trace it around, snip it, and you will come up with a shamrock, like that. I did it on a smaller leaf, so depending on the size of the leaf is the size of the shamrock that you'll make. Now, you could also dress this up. I have, rosemary is very huge in Ireland. You could take a little bit of chamomile, maybe a little bit of rosemary, and then of course you would floral tape that, and there is your lapel to go with your rose. You could put some of the, if you were doing this for St. Patrick's Day, if you want to take the time, you could absolutely cut some shamrocks and insert them in here. You could make this all out of shamrocks, but that's like a time sucker. But you could do that. So there we go. My wild Irish rose and the shamrock. Again, these are Galax leaves. These are available year-round. They're local to your area, Wendy. Mostly in the Piedmont area, where it's boggy, but they are hardy to grow here. They do go, we're zone 6, and these grow basically all over the northern hemisphere. They are called Galax. It's from the Greek gala, meaning milk. The reason it's milk is because in the spring, they get a white spike of flower. So somehow, in the mind of the Greek, they felt that that reminded them of milk. But most of our plant names, the genesis are Latin or Greek. So, and again, like I said, you could do this with violet leaves. They're thinner, but you could roll it. As you can see, you could roll the leaf the same way. I think with these, you'd probably have to use floral tape. Of course, they're much stronger in the spring. You know, they're nice and hardy and hale. This is a wimpy leftover leaf from winter, so that I picked in the yard. Okay. Everybody got that? Got that, Wendy? Yeah, the ribbon is pretty, isn't it? Even if you're not Irish, it's always fun to participate in Irish traditions. Okay. Now, you've got the corsage or nosegay and boutonniere. Now here's something for the party. You could do this in many ways. I have a dish here. This is a plant stand dish. In the old days, they used dishes. You might have seen these at flea markets and things. And the reason they're shaped like this is because in those days, they had flower frogs that fit right into that. This one I have is a little bit big for that. I could still use it. But that's how they would do a flower arrangement in these bowls. You could do it in a beautiful compote. You could do it on a flat piece of, you know, vintage plate, a china. I'd like to have you have a little bit of a water reservoir. So after all this, let me show you what I'm going to do in secret. We're going to do an arrangement in a potato. So the thing about that is potatoes are loaded with water, and you could use this anytime. If you pick up a few flowers and you have a potato, you could easily poke your holes and use it in place of like a flower frog or oasis. So what you do is you slice, as you can see, I sliced the bottom off so you've got flat. Now I'm going to use a flower frog. Do you have to? No, but I am going to use one just so I can show you, and that will go right. You don't even have to put it on there very hard. Now before you do this, potatoes are hard. We're going to insert the flowers in the potato, so you need to, I would make some holes first. I have a nail that I've had for 35 years. This is my trusty Make Holes in Gourds pumpkins nail. And I just went in and just made random holes everywhere. And if it's a fat potato and it's a really fresh potato, it's going to be harder. You might want to use a little hammer or a little mallet or a stone and get those holes in there before you do all of this. Okay. So as you can see, I did not cut off very much, just enough to make it flat. Here's another bowl. It would be beautiful in this. This would be quite pretty. So any container you have, or like I said, I've even done them. I did a display one time, and I did them on Balik china down at our local store, and they were quite pretty. So we're going to get started right here. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay. I chose things today that I thought were like the epitome of spring. And when you do any kind of a flower arrangement, whether it's this or not, you always have your larger things at the bottom or lower, and then your thinner things at the top. But with the potato, make sure you get a lot of holes in there. That's all I can say. So I chose some beautiful freesia. I've got some Crispidia balls, and of course I have daffodils. In fact, daffodils in Ireland are the flower for this time of year. So I'm going to start at the base of my potato. Can we see this? Yes, we can. Now I'm going to cut these very thin. Now I noticed with the daffodils, they have a very thick stem because you might have some in your garden. Worry that hole. When you get that nail in there, if you're going to put some daffodils in it, worry it so they can go in there. Let's get another one over here. So I'm going to start like this. Yeah, see, that one is a little bit tight, but that's okay. I'll worry it a little bit more. Just for these thicker. And you also have to, because the daffodil stems are so fragile, if you push it too hard, it's just going to pulverize the stem. So you really want it to go in there pretty smoothly. And it's still not deep enough for me. At the bottom. There we go. So I'm just going to start with one at each end. And then it's just a matter of poke and play. I do have a couple of beautiful ferns. I thought those would be pretty in there. And these have very thin stems. Actually, maybe we'll do something down at the base. Like this. Oh boy, they go in nice and easy. I can get 2 in that one. This guy's getting a little wilted. And then work up. Start with your next flowers here, and then the next flowers here. This is the easiest way. This is almost like Ikebana. Everything has to have its own space. So it's the same with the flowers. Like I have freesia here that's open in different stages. I have buds, etc. So this freesia is quite open. So I'm going to cut that one. And I'm going to stick it in there. Oh, look how pretty that looks. Stick a bud in there. And then I'm going to put one a little bit taller. Of course, I'm stuck to wherever I put my holes. I didn't make any rhyme or reason. Do a stem over here. Some of these guys, I might just leave these like really long. Actually, they'll go right in. See, if you have a harder stem, they'll go right in. There we go. I don't know if you can see, but when you poke the stems in, you can see the water that's coming out. It's pretty juicy. Now, we could just go on and on with the stems. Turn that one around. I like that one around. I can't see what's going on that way. This guy is a little funky over there. Let's see. We've got another bud here. This is definitely a minimalistic arrangement. I mean, of course, you could put 1,000 holes in this potato and have all sorts of things. But I'm spacing them for a reason because I have something else that I'm going to do. Which, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to take this one out for now. Let's put him over here. Let's see how he does over here. That's a little bit better. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to use, you could go out in the yard, you could get some branches. This is pretty tough. If it's a branch, you could probably just stick it right in. Yeah, you can. Okay. All right, let me clean up a little bit here. And we've got another freesia. But do I have another hole? I think I do. Let me see. Now you could go on and on and on, adding and adding. I know it looks a little strange, but bear with me. I just got in Mood Moss, it's called. I don't know if you can see it. It's got all these wonderful little things. It's also called windswept moss because it tends to look like it's windswept. It's such a fluffy, wonderful moss. The real name is Dicranium. I forgot. Wait a minute. Dicranium scoparium. It's actually a natural anti-inflammatory. If you're ever in the woods and you get cut, any moss will do that. It's good for digestion. It's good for a lot of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this moss. I don't know if you can see this. Yes, I think you can. I'm going to cut some of this. See how thick it is? This is wonderful stuff. Absolutely wonderful stuff. Now, if I'm going to continue to use this, I'm going to put that over there, and then I'm going to cut some more. God, I hate cutting. Oh, it just falls apart. It's wonderful. Nothing like moss for Ireland, right? And I'm going to take a couple pieces, and I'm going to stick them in here. I don't want to cover the whole potato. Just enough for effect. Okay, look at that little thing. Now, like I said, I'm not finishing this. I would have more coming out. I would probably do a lot more ferns. I love ferns. I might use a little bit of the Pittosporum. Look how pretty that looks. Let's try that. Stick a little bit of that in there. Maybe just a little. So I would have all kind of more freesia, more daffodils. You could just go to town because the potato, this isn't going anywhere. This is also a great project for kids because, I mean, floral arranging foam is one of my Achilles heel. You have to choose your battles with it. But this is something that kids could do. It's a great project. You just have to be careful with the nail, or you could always make some holes later. If you have an older potato, it's going to be softer, so you could probably use toothpicks. Okay, so now we've got this wonderful little arrangement. Thank you, Wendy. I think it's kind of cute. Let me see if I can hold it up. I have a new camera we're going to do with. Let me see here. I don't know if you can see it. And of course my computer is, it's so fresh, so spring, so fresh, with just little bits of stuff. Not a lot of money. Okay. Oh, I forgot, yes. I wanted to add some rosemary. I like the texture of it, and I also like, rosemary's big in Ireland too, I believe. So just a couple of sprigs of rosemary. That'll also give it a really nice smell, because once you cut those leaves on the rosemary and release the oil. Okay. Now, to finish this off, hey Ernie, how are you? It's not my idea, Everything I do was done 100 to 150 years ago, and this is actually an idea that's really indigenous to the UK and Ireland. They really utilize that. Now, to finish it off, it's going to be a quick class today. I've got some little fingerlings, or whatever these are called. These little potatoes. Now these are softer. So what I'm going to do, poke a toothpick in there and start putting them around the potato. How cute is that? I'll put one more right there. I mean, I've got a whole bag of them, but I want to show you another idea before I get too many in there. And like I said, that's not going anywhere. In the old days, you did we have something called Stickum. It's it never dries out. It's like a putty that they would put on the bottom and then push that onto the plate. Especially if you were doing like a dish, like an antique dish or something that you wanted this on. You'd need it so it wasn't going to move around. But for the purposes of today, look how cute that is. Yeah, or just something for the middle of your table, you know? And this way, if you ever get flowers and you don't have any foam or you don't know how to work with foam, or you want to get kids involved, all right. I might put a little more, but I don't want to cover up too much of the potatoes. See, that's why with this one in particular, I didn't want to cover up too much of the potato. So let's say that we did this in, let's take a look at it in this bowl. Take it right off that frog. Looks adorable. Can't see the potato in this one too well, but I didn't get a very large potato either. But how I would really like it is if you had like a really nice glass bowl and put it in there so you're looking down at it. And then if you wanted to, let me see. Come here, buddy. Come back out here. I want to show you something else. Hold on. I'm going to lose my potatoes. Actually, we can do it on this one better. The last idea I wanted to show you was, and again, please don't go out and ravage the woods for the moss. I would just take potatoes and just pile them all around the dish. And look like little eggs. Yeah, they're those little baby gourmet golden potatoes, they're called. Look how cute that is. Just piling them all in there. And there you go. Like I said, I didn't do a fantastic design job on this. It was basically showing you the mechanics. So it's a wonderful thing. And the potato has enough water probably for about 3 days. And then after that, yes, you're going to have to add some water to it. And I would change it because, you know, potato can get rancid. But if you keep that potato going, it's going to go. It'll probably even root in the bowl. It'll probably start sprouting eyes. There was something I was going to show you that was cute that I found from the old days. This is a poster that obviously when my mother first opened the store. So this is from like early 1970s. They were doing arrangements in potatoes. Now, that's okay. I mean, you could do that, but obviously they were using the flour foam in there. And you can do that. You can do that, but this is such a way, it's non-toxic. You've probably got an old potato in your bottom drawer of your refrigerator, right? And I just think it's a cute idea. Like I said, especially for kids. Let me see if I can get it up just a little bit more, the camera. New camera next week. And if you just go outside, I mean, you could just pick little grasses, little ferns. Of course, I use, things that are professional to the industry because I have to. I'm not supposed to go outside and pick things for bugs and things like that. So I'll hold it up one more time. I should do this for the Girl Scouts. That would be a good one for them. So, I think we're good. So we're all set for anybody who's Irish. Again, like I said, we've got my Wild Irish Rose. And you can feel these. They're quite leathery. That's why I think it's worth it if you want. This will dry like this too. It's worth it if you really wanted to make one to last, to just buy the Galax sleeves because they're so inexpensive. I don't remember. I think they're like $8 or $9 for a bundle of 20. I get them in packs of 100. And also the little, I could put this together for you if you like. You just royal tape it. Give it to your favorite leprechaun. It's cute. And this is good. I mean, I like the green carnation. It's traditional. But you know, I don't know. I just think if you got the leaves, and you could do this out of a violet leaf too, but you just have to wait because they're not strong enough yet. I actually kept a few of these because sometimes they come in and they have the little root on the bottom. I don't know if there's one here with a root on it. And I planted them in a pot of dirt because I said, you know what? I like those. And they are hardy. Now, there is I did a tutorial for this. I mean, this is pretty simple, but just in case you forget, on my website under the Designery. And it's just right there. It just shows you step 1, step 2, step 3. Let me check. Here. You know, you could add some eggs in there. You could add a nest in there. You could add a lot of things. We're going to have a nest making class. In fact, I just got some eggs over here. If you wanted to even just throw a few eggs on, you could throw a few of your eggshells on there. Let me see if I can get these going. You could put some English ivy in there. You could have English ivy trailing out. Pieces of that. We all have that. So you can put some little blue eggs. But I think it's nice for St. Patrick's Day. If you wanted to make it truly St. Patrick's Day, it would have to be white and orange. But I think they're huge on daffodils. In fact, I was just reading on my I have a whole flower thing that shows what flowers are coming from what part of the world and what's in season. And I guess there's an Isle of Scilly that for some reason the seas were bad. And in Ireland they were all screaming they weren't going to have their daffodils for this holiday they celebrate. So apparently they do like daffodils. I think that's about it for these two projects. If there's any questions, I always get questions later. I know this is a hard time, but it's kind of the time I can do it. Let me refresh this. Let's see here what we got going. For anybody who's going to watch this video later, this will be on my website and it will be on YouTube. And you know what? Sharing is caring. So share it with your friends. Like I'm sharing my knowledge with you. Share it with your friends because they're fun little things. You can also sign up for my monthly newsletter, which will notify you when I have these classes. I try to have them as much as possible, but we'll see. Next week starts the classes in the shop. Got some great projects going on there. That's also listed on the website. So if there's no more questions, let me look. You know I will, Wendy. Oh, look at that. I'm looking at it on the laptop. Those eggs are cute. Yeah. So there we go. This was just a quick little in my back room getting some fresh air from the world out there and coming into my Neverland. This is my Neverland here. Okay, so I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks.